This is the subject of the application, apartments that we're proposing in Quentin, and it's adjacent to Alden Place. This isn't the best map depiction, but here's Alden Place. I think you're familiar with that. And the best way of identifying where the parcel is Alden Place's big sign is right in the middle of it. Yeah. You know, as you come down from Mount Gretna. So here's the sign right here. So it's really high, you know, kind of knob of stone. I noticed coming up today that they pretty much had to cut Route 72 between the big knoll on either side. So it's not anything that resembles, it's not usable farm ground, you know, which we're sensitive to. So of the greater part of all the Place partners, we propose to use 8.65 acres, which will be attached to the developments that are proposed along this side here that the folks at Alden Place are working on as well.
So you've got Quentin Hunt, it looks like, right here. This is the back of Quentin Hunt.
Right.
Quentin
That's correct, and the Sunoco station would be about here.
Quentin Hunt, the riding club would be over here. Quentin Hunt townhomes are in there. The Sunoco station's right here. Just to give it a little bit more proximity.
Bowman, Executive Director, Lebanon County Redevelopment Authority, and this is Dan Lyons from the Redevelopment Authority. He's has been with the authority for about 1.5 years now, and he's taking on some of the responsibilities that were done by Ray Bender. From
Community Basics Incorporated to undertake the development of a 62-unit affordable housing complex in Quentin, right along 72, a bit south of Quentin. Their total project cost is $13 million approximately, and they're looking for a $150,000 allocation from Affordable Housing Fund. They are both going to be submitting applications to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. One of the questions that came up yesterday that Betsy and I spoke about this morning was whether or not these two are going to be competing for the same dollars. And Betsy has probably a clearer answer to that.
Okay. I'm not an expert on the low-income housing tax credits, so after Jamie and I talked, I quickly went to the PFHA website, looked at their application process, and from what I understand, it's pretty much what Jamie and I talked earlier. There is an urban pool and what I'll call a rural pool, anything that's not considered urban. And they consider, PFHA considers urban to be cities such as Lebanon, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Reading, Scranton, Harrisburg. So, if I'm correct, then the Community Homes of Lemon Valley Fund would be coming out of the urban pool. The Community Basics would come out of the non-urban pool. And there's an even split. They split it, you know, half of the funds go urban, half go non-urban. And then further breaking it down, so Community Homes is competing, if you will, against an application that could come in from Harrisburg or Philly. But then there's another category where PFHA gives preferences, so that the Community Homes application is in the preservation category. So Community Homes would be competing with other communities submitting for the preservation dollars, and they typically have a preference and a set aside. PFHA would like to fund 3 out of each pool for preservation, and that's preservation for elderly and disabled. Community Basics comes out of a new construction pool, which is general occupancy. So if I'm correct in what I have gotten from their application process.
$2 million in affordable housing funds that are liquid and available, and approximately, was it 1.3 million in receivables, which are various obligations, biggest of which I think is the first-time home buyer. If you were to act on either or both of these today, they would go from the $2 million allocation or available funds over to the receivables, with the expectation that in 30 years you would, the fund would be paid back that non-performing loan from these projects.
We need a motion for $150,000 to
Community Basics Incorporated.
Community Basics Incorporated.
I'll move that.
We'll have a second.
I have comments. I don't know if I should say that before or after the motion.
Well, if it puts your mind at ease, I'll second the motion,
okay,
and then you can have the floor.
All right. I agree with what Betsy said, but it's a very complex formula as for the competition end of it. And it's also my understanding there's another portion, and that would be that Penn Homes has $6 million available for the different projects, and Community Homes applied for $600,000, which is a higher amount perhaps than the other Quentin Homes has asked for, and therefore they would be in competition, and this would negatively impact their score, and therefore if they would have asked the county for more money and less from Penn Homes, their score would be higher. And going back to the purpose of the CDBG funds, one is for housing, but the other is for blight and, you know, keeping up properties and things. And I see Community Homes with all the mechanicals in a 40-year-old building desperately needing to be upgraded. So if these two would be in competition with each other for those Penn Homes dollars, and again, their score is going to come in lower because they ask for more money. And so that's a concern for me. I guess it's an Act 137 application?
Right, 7 Affordable Housing Trust Fund,
Right.
not to be confused with the CDBG program that we just had approved.
CBI, Community Basics, thank you. They're asking for $750,000 from Penn Homes toward acquisition. And Community Homes, you're saying, is $600,000 in Penn Homes.
Right.
All right, there's a motion on the floor to approve a $150,000 loan to Community Basics Incorporated. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Approved by a 2-to-1 vote.